Hello and welcome to AZ in the Circle, Arizona Softball Podcast. We got a great show again planned for you. We have a VIP in the room, Meghan Schouten from Boston College in her sophomore year. Thanks, Meghan, for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's a blast.
Yep. We're going to be talking a lot with her. So I got several questions to ask her. We'll see if we can get through it here. I want to recap her freshman season. I want to talk about Xavier softball and your state championships. I want to talk about how she's helped, what she gives back to the community in terms of helping out with club softball out here in Arizona with Coach Mercado's team, and your recruitment journey, and then also NIL. This is the name, image, and likeness, and how it affects college softball these days, how it affected you. And then lastly, hey, we're on the brink of sophomore season coming up fast on us, and I want to hear about that and your team goals and what you're looking forward to. Yeah. So let's get it going. So a recap of 2023, your freshman season at Boston College. Yeah. We followed you a lot out here, and we saw you hit your bombs, 4 of them as a freshman, and you kind of, you kind of did it. You gutted it out too. You kind of tell us a little bit about the adversity you faced and how you're able to push through.
Yeah, so a lot of people knew about my physical injury, which was my shoulder. I would sublux my shoulder a lot when I was hitting. Happened in a few of our series. It was really unfortunate, but it was something I dealt with in 8th grade originally, so I actually had surgery back in 8th grade with it, and then it lasted me 5 years, and then it started to loosen up again and would sublux when I would hit. So it happened in a few series. It was a battle. At one point, I didn't even want to pick up a bat because I was so scared that it was going to come out again, and then I was like, you know what, let's just do it, get it over with. So yeah, there was I think it was in either March or April, and it was a rough go. But yeah, I mean, it was hard. I think it was more mentally hard than it was physically hard, just because, coming in as a freshman, you don't really know college softball until you play college softball. And it was hard. It was mentally hard. I was really going through it at the beginning of the season, and started to lean into my resources and kind of found who I was and found the purpose that I wanted to have. Like, I wasn't getting the results that I wanted in the beginning of the year at all. And I think my mindset changed with a lot of help with my coaches and other resources, and I started to take the little wins for what they are, and then my whole outlook kind of changed, and my injury was just something I had to deal with, and it was something I worked with my hitting coach on and my athletic trainer, and we kind of just worked through it, as well as like all the mental things that were going on. So yeah, it was good towards the end of the season. It was a lot of mental work, as well as making sure that shoulder stays in there as long as it can, and if it popped out, it popped out, and I would just go right back as what I was comfortable with. And so I think that the last time it popped out was, I believe, in April in the Clemson series. And then I had surgery, and right after season, and here we are.
So as soon as the season ended, you're like, yeah, let's get this done?
Yeah, so the plan was I was going to skip all of fall ball, get healthy, and be ready to go by the spring. So as soon as I got home, I think I had a week or two, and June 1st, I had surgery.
That's good. And everything went well?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, well, kudos to you for battling through that adversity.
Thank you.
It's easy to say on this side of it, but when you're going through it, and you said you leaned on some of your resources. Right. So did you have did you get to know some teammates during the season? They helped you out, or did you lean back on some of your previous coaches or your faith? I don't care, whatever it was that got you through.
I would say the biggest thing was my faith, for sure, and as well as our school psychologist, and he really helped me like lean into my faith, and not necessarily like he's like, oh, faith, but he helped me realize that like that's what I wanted to seek, was my faith, and that was a big thing for me. So before every game, there's a lot of pictures of me just praying, and then all of a sudden all my teammates would come pray with me, and so it was kind of just leaning to my faith and realizing that I'm not here to please myself, but I'm here to please God and have faith in God, and seek him and glorify him through softball, and not just working on my own successes. but working on his success because I have such a big platform as a college athlete, as a D1 athlete, that it's something greater than myself. And I think I realized that halfway through the season. I was like, this is not my doing. I'm not here just to focus on my success, but work with God and work through all this adversity and glorify him through softball. So yeah, I worked with that. I would see my psychiatrist every week, kind of talk about what was going on, not just in softball, but in life. Leaned on my coaches a lot, and they knew what was going on, or most of them knew what was going on, and, they helped me through it, helped me work through it, be who I wanted to be and all that. And, my captain last year, she was great. She noticed that I was struggling, and she was always there for me to talk, or would just send me a text when she knew I had a bad day. So I think just everybody, even my whole team, they were just really supportive. I know a lot of them didn't know the mental struggle that I was going through, and they were always just there to be the light.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I imagine that now that you've been through something like that, and your teammates saw you go through like that, then it might open up your other teammates that maybe are going through some struggles that say, hey, and they lean on you, and now they have an example. Look how you came through on the other side.
Right.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that, Meghan.
Of course.
I also wanted to talk about your fall ball came, and seemed like you guys were getting stuff going.
Yeah.
How you helped the team. You were there all the time. How was fall ball this summer? This fall.
Obviously I didn't participate.
Yeah.
I was in practice occasionally, closer towards the end, just because I was getting cleared. And the big thing about Team 41, so we're Team 41 this year. The big thing about Team 41 is every role is valued and every person is valued regardless of your role. You should do it to the best of your ability regardless, and roles can change. And so that was what I was going to do. I was like, I'm injured. Might as well just be
This is my role. This
yeah.
is what I'm going to do with it.
Yeah. So I went through injury with one of the freshmen that came in, and you're like, all right, here we go. This is what it's going to be. We're just going to be on the bench, be the loudest people on the bench, do all the little stuff, set up the cameras, do all the little stuff that, other girls would do. But at this point, we would just do it because, it was our role at that point. So.
Yeah. No, that's what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
Whatever role they give you, do the best you can with it. That's awesome. And you do have some talented freshmen coming in.
Yeah.
I know that pitcher, AJ.
Addison Jackson,
Is her nickname AJ or
AJ.
Addison?
Yeah, she goes by AJ.
So what's thinking about that, and you were saying about Team 41 and what everyone matters. Well, how did you say? What did you say about Team 41?
Every role is valued.
Every role is valued. Is that something that the head coach, Cavilhog?
Yeah.
Is she pushing for a certain culture?
Yeah.
Or what is it that it's a winning culture, but what is it that she thinks gets you there to that winning culture?
Yeah, so actually this was a big thing this year. We actually had a whole culture change, or I like to call it a whole culture change. We read a book over the summer break, and it was called The Twin Thieves, and it was basically a book about culture and how to be a winning team, but not necessarily focus on winning. So yeah, we changed what we wanted our culture to be about. We all got on the same page. It was like everybody's valued. You should do your role in that point, but be joyful for the other person's success. Like, even if someone was playing above you, like, be joyful for their success. Another word, it's Ubuntu and Mudita. So be successful for the joy of others. And then the other one is, let me think about it. I know what it is.
What does it mean?
It's I am because of you, we are because of us. Okay. So kind of just being a family and kind of being together and like, we're not just one person on the field, but we are because of the person next to us. And BC softball is what we are because of all of us and not just one of us. So that's awesome.
Yeah. What have you seen already in a short bit of time as compared to freshman year, now a sophomore year, with this being open, buying into this belief system? Has it already harvested benefits?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. We are focusing a lot on being servant leaders. So kind of doing everything for each other, regardless of our age, because, common sports is like the older kids don't really do much, but the younger kids are the ones that set up the field and do all these things. But it's really changed where it's like we're all doing things, and even the locker room vibe is just really, really good. I would say. It's uplifting, it's good, it's refreshing, it's just a joyful place to be, and it's a place to love softball. So
yeah, hey, if you're having fun and you're loving the game, I mean, you think that translates into a lot more success come this spring.
Absolutely.
We'll see soon here.
Yeah.
All right, good. Well, let's move on to I want to talk about the facilities at Boston College, because I've seen some videos on your socials. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And recently saw one where it looked like you guys came into your clubhouse and, Santa came early. For those young kids, sometimes they do that in Boston College. Santa comes early there. But tell us about that. Tell us about the facilities there, the indoor hitting facility, and your little Christmas send-off they gave you.
Yeah, so it's the Pete Frates Center, and so it's named after Pete Frates, who played on BC baseball, bird ball as we like to call it, and he was diagnosed with ALS, and he was actually the one that started the Ice Bucket Challenge, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, which many people I don't think know.
No. I've heard of the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yeah.
It started, that's great.
So he started the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, and he's the driving force of that building, and he's always honored, and so we honored him with that, with our facility, and he's a great light to us. Mrs. Frates actually came in and talked to us, and it was just such an inspiring story. He was always never focused on himself, but he was always focused on somebody else, and making sure that they're the best person. And his quote is in our facility as well as down at our field on our board. It's like, be genuine, be passionate, be hardworking, and never afraid to be great. And so, we've been living by that, but our facility is absolutely incredible. I mean, all the people that have made it what it is, as well as like from the ground up, it's just absolutely incredible. Upstairs we have 7 cages. It's soon to be 6, and I don't know if this is allowed to be announced, but we are getting a weight room upstairs.
Breaking news.
Yeah, so they're taking out one of the cages and we're putting in a weight room. So we have that weight room going in, as well as those 6 cages that we'll have. We have 7 now, but we'll go down to 6, and 3 for us, 3 for baseball. And then we have our common conference room upstairs, as we like to call it. Don't have access to it, but that's where we had our Christmas party.
Okay.
And so then downstairs we have our training room. We have a small weight room. We have both baseball's locker room as well as our locker room. We have a mud room in there, and then we have coaches' locker rooms downstairs as well. The best in the ACC. I'll be honest. I might be biased, but I would say it's probably the best in the ACC. It's just absolutely incredible. The people that have made it happen. I mean, even from our facilities people to our equipment manager to our coaches, to the sponsors and donors that made it actually come into fruition. It's just absolutely incredible, and I'm lucky to walk in there every day. That's
awesome. Speaking of the ACC, I see every year that the ACC tournament is held at different locations. Is that something that is based off if the team went to the ACC championship the year before, or is it based off, hey, we love your facilities, we're going to go here next year?
So it's actually a rotating choice, I believe. So actually next year we're hosting.
Yeah. As in 2024?
No, as in 2025.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your junior year.
Yep.
All right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good. Thanks for sharing that too. And then let's talk about, you went to Xavier Prep out here in Arizona.
I did.
And you actually made history, softball history. Xavier had never won a softball state championship. And then when you were a junior, you guys won your first one.
Yeah.
And then you followed up with back-to-back state championships.
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience. First of all, the first year as a junior.
Oh, yeah, it was wild. So sophomore year, COVID hit. Actually, it started freshman year. We had an incredible class come in. My class was absolutely incredible. We had, at the end of senior year, all 5 of us went to go play Division I softball, which is...
So you think you guys had an advantage or something?
Just a little bit, but I would say that's pretty unheard of. Like, nobody really has
players.
Their whole senior class go Division I. Yeah, so that was really awesome. So freshman year came in, and it was an exciting year. We had new coaches, Brad Downs, Derek Sexton, and, Tom Sahar came along at some point, and, it was a great vibe freshman year. It was like, okay, maybe, like, this is going to be something, because going into Xavier, they were like, you're never going to win a state championship. You know that, right? And I was like, yeah, I know that. I was like, I'm not going there for softball. And so freshman year, we lost to Red Mountain, and I believe it was in the quarters, and it was either the quarters or right before that. And so we got 5th in the state or 5th in our division at that point. And then sophomore year, we're like, oh, this is our year. This is going to be the one. And then COVID hit, so we had no season. Yeah. So COVID hit, we had no season. It was really disappointing because I was like, this was going to be our year. We had a great senior class at that point, and it was just like that was going to be it. So then junior year rolled around again. We had a great senior class, and it was just, we went through the season and it was exciting. It was a blast. I can't remember what our record was. It was probably I think 18-2 or something, which has been unheard of in Xavier history, I think. And yeah, we got to the state championship. It was me.
You guys played at ASU or U of A?
We played at U of A. My junior year. Yeah, I was actually talking to one of my Xavier teammates actually earlier today, and we were talking about it, how we wish that our championship games were a little bit more competitive, and it was always the semis that was the most competitive one. So the semis of junior year, I believe we run-rolled O'Connor, and they were the reigning state champions. So we were like, oh, that's a huge deal for us to
That was in the semis.
Yeah.
And you felt elation there. You're like, wow, we're going to the state championship, or
yeah,
you felt
we're like, holy smokes, we're going to the state championship. And it was crazy. Even going through whole playoffs, I believe at that point it was one and done because of COVID. So I don't think there were that many teams. I can't remember exactly how it went, but I believe it was one and done. And so it was also down at U of A, which also unheard of because it's always at ASU. And so yeah, we took our bus down to U of A and played our state championship. It was actually pushed back, I think, till 8. And it was late. Yeah, so that was great. We won 10-0. I remember Bridget was standing on third, and I hit a sac fly, and that was it.
That was a run roll.
Yep, run
in
roll.
The fourth or something like that.
Yep.
That's awesome. And then all of a sudden you got to come back, and now you're defending state champions. You're like, you might as well defend the state championship, and then you ran that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that year was driven by something else. I mean, our teammate passed away. She wasn't our teammate at the time, but she was a previous teammate. She graduated in 2019, and she was a manager for us because she was unable to play softball. So Kylie Rogers, she was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, and she was going through her third fight with Ewing sarcoma, and she passed away September 1st of our senior year. And so we were actually the last class to know Kylie, or I would say experience Kylie, not know Kylie, but experience Kylie as a teammate. And, she was that driving force, I feel like, the whole season. And it wasn't our best season. It wasn't as good as our junior year, but it did end up the exact same way. So it was great. We had a dog fight in the semis against Queen Creek.
Yep.
Just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That was a great game. It was absolutely fantastic. And then in the championship, we played Hamilton, I think, for the 4th time. Our senior year.
Season.
Yeah, that season. I think it was either the 3rd or 4th time that season.
And what was the series of those 4 games?
Gosh, I don't remember.
But you won the one that mattered.
Yeah, I think we either won all of them or 3 of them, something like that. Which it's usually a dogfight between us and Hamilton. Anybody in our premier conference, it's always a dogfight.
Well, that's great.
But yeah, by the 3rd inning, it was decided. We're like, all right, let's speed this up a little bit. Okay. It was another run roll, and that one was just it was so full of joy. It was like there's a photo, and there's a photo of us hoisting the trophy up, and you see someone holding up a 2 for number 2. So yeah, it was good. It was a great day. Last day as a Gator because I graduated that morning. So
oh, really?
Yeah, so I graduated that morning. The whole senior class, we graduated, and that night we played the state championship.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure parents were excited that they knew where their kids were that night.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's just and then in between there, you helped coach Mo Mercado with her athletics Mercado team. And I remember after your junior year, you helped this little young team. They were just getting started. Yeah. Maybe they were playing 14U, and you made time and I remember those girls all looked up to you, and they still do. And now then the next year you win the seniors, and now the senior state championship. Now that team's 16U, and you're still helping out throughout the summer.
Yeah.
And then you go to Boston College, and then you come home. And whenever you came home, you would go to their practices, and now they're moving up to 18U. So you've, I mean, I don't know if you realize this, but you seem to, be in loving service of others all the time.
Yeah.
That you weren't getting anything out of that except you were helping others. So it looks like it was already part of your MO anyway to begin with. Tell us about how's that made you feel giving back to the community as far as helping Mo's team.
Yeah, I met Mo my freshman year of high school, and I was going back and forth between her and her dad for hitting lessons. Just because he was in California, she was here. I would drive down to Tucson to go hit with her. So that was my first encounter with Mo, was hitting with her down in Tucson. Yeah, those were good times. And then she moved up here to Scottsdale and started hitting with her there. Or I would say continued to hit with her there. And, she...
That's where you learned that super violent swing?
Yeah.
Because you throw your shoulder out unless it's super violent. You have a very violent swing.
Thank you. It's all Mo. And Dave.
Yep.
Yeah, so... No, Mo brought it up to me that a team was interested in having her train them, and she brought it up to me, and I was sitting there, and I was just, like, really hoping in my head. I was like, please ask me to help. And eventually she did. After a few weeks, she was like, all right, you can help. I didn't ask her, but she was like, you want to come help and come out? And I was like, yeah, I do. Yeah. I don't know what drove me to do it, but it was something that I knew that I wanted to give back to the organization that gave me everything. Like, I am who I am right now, as well as they're the reason why I went to BC was the Athletics Mercado organization. And I love this organization. I love what they're about. I love the grit, and I love the purpose that they have behind softball. I learned so much from everybody that I've experienced in this organization. So, I wanted to give back. And I also got an excuse to hang out with Mo. Like, Mo's like my older sister at this point. Got an excuse to hang out with Mo and just, have fun. And I love those girls to death. I mean, I remember they were just so little when I first met them, and now they're almost taller than me. And I'm not short, so it says a lot. But, they're growing into really, really good young women, and, I'm excited for them.
Yeah,
excited for them to, get into their recruiting season, and, be able to talk to college coaches. And I don't think I'll play against any of them, maybe a couple that came on a little bit later with the older teams. But, just watching them become who they are is it's really fulfilling for me to see them go through the exact same process that I went through, and, be kind of like that older sister that Mo was for me. So.
That's great. And maybe you won't get to see him play against them, but maybe you'll coach them.
Yeah.
Because it seems like, there's opportunities there past your college playing days. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody wants to play forever, but next best thing to playing is coaching. But you never know, right?
Right.
It's Boston College. They have masters there?
They do.
Yeah, okay, great.
Yep.
So we'll see. Well, we got a lot of playing to do before then.
We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, and then let's talk about recruitment then. Yeah. You just brought it up there about those young girls finally entering their recruitment. Tell me about your recruitment journey, because everyone says it's their own journey, and I totally get it, so I want to hear about yours. What was your overall take on it?
It sucked for sure, but I think that I did it right. I was guided very, very well by a lot of people, but I think I did it right. So it all started pretty much my freshman year, and we all got signed on to Sports Recruit. My team did out in California, and we all got signed up for Sports Recruit. I would end up sending like 90 emails a big weekend, like every big weekend. And then after that weekend, my mom would set up the GoPro, so I would take all the footage from that and cut it and post all my highlights on Sports Recruit, and then I would send another 90 emails saying that my videos were uploaded. So I was going through the COVID recruitment, so everything was based off of video. It was based off my Twitter, my Instagram, my Sports Recruit, all that stuff was basically based off of technology. So that was a huge thing for me.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, you worked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a lot of resources to help me. I had a recruiting coordinator who was actually one of the dads on the team. And then eventually when I got up to September 1st of my junior year, I wasn't playing on that team anymore. I moved up to one of the older teams, and he was still helping me out while his daughter was off at college and playing softball. And so he was still helping me out, talking to coaches for me, you know, telling me what I need to do. And so, yeah, a lot of resources, a lot of help.
Was that before the rule where you couldn't talk to a certain to the sophomores until their junior year? Or
so no, it was actually during. So recruiting.
You were the first class that had that happen to them, or
oh gosh, I don't remember. No, I don't think so. I think it was a couple years before me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was either 3 or 4 years before me that it happened, because I know somebody that committed their 8th grade year like a week before the rule changed.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So I was in 8th grade at that point when the rule changed. So I think I had like 2 or 3 years. But so coaches are allowed to talk to them, and like they can kind of report back what they said, kind of give the spark notes. So recruiting coordinators as well as coaches are allowed to talk to college coaches. Obviously I wasn't allowed to talk to them. Gotcha. So I would just, it was more by word of mouth kind of thing, like, oh, possible interest here. Yeah. Make sure you email them. Obviously they can't email back, but make sure you email them, kind of just keep up on this person and, you know, keep posting those videos.
Yeah, I was talking to my producer, Casey Kendall, here at 1010 Studios in Gilbert about, we've heard these stories, and basically you're all like salespeople. Yeah. Because you have to cut video, and you got to send out emails, and you got to send them out again, and constantly work your contacts. Yeah. Because you never know. Right. Because they can't talk to you.
You're flying blind.
You're flying blind, but you don't want to leave a stone unturned. Right. So you basically are just sending stuff out left and right.
Yeah, 90 emails. It was all across the board to D3s, to D1s. I think I had a couple NAIAs in there.
Of tournaments.
It was big weekends.
And then post-tournament.
Yep. So 90 emails. And then eventually when I got narrowed down to like, okay, I'm probably not going to go there, is when the numbers started to dwindle a little bit. But
yeah. At the time you didn't know that, so you're taking your shot.
Right. It was 90 emails. And on September 1st, I got 14 calls out of those 90 emails.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which tells you.
That's a great September 1st.
Yeah, it was a great September 1st. Or I would say within that week, it was about 14. Yeah, but that kind of gives you a little taste. It was I sent 90 emails and I only got
But 90 emails repeatedly to the tune of over 1,000.
Right, and like I hear a lot of stories of people like are only sending like 10 emails, and I'm like, you need to be sending more than that to gain a little bit of interest, because coaches also do talk. So I mean, you know.
And that kind of shows your drive too, as to, man, this girl really wants it. She's really sending it out. And then even I've heard some SEC schools where one of the coaches is like, oh yeah, I almost like it if they stalk me. Yeah. Where that shows me they're really interested in it. So
yeah, I know a lot of coaches like if you send an email like, oh, I saw you were here, like how cool, like kind of at the end of the email to make it a little bit more personable. Yeah. I know coaches do like that.
Good. So, well, thank you for sharing that. And then based off that, well, that was some of those productive things you did, was the video cuts and the emails. Now I'm going through. Yeah, I've never once have we had some girl say, oh, the recruitment process was just lovely. I loved it. It was awesome. They all have the same take on you. Yeah. Like you. The question is, what would you tell your younger Megan? Hey, Megan, as a sophomore or freshman, now knowing what you know about the recruitment process, if anything, what would you say? Kudos, or hey, what would you say to her?
You did it right. You know, just keep going. Just keep pushing through. Listen to the people that are telling you things. Listen to what everybody's saying, and you know, I have people ask me about my recruiting journey a lot because they see where I am and, like, they just want to know what it was. And it's a lot of hard work. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily like, oh, that sucks. I don't want to do that. And it is hard work, but it put me right exactly where I wanted to be. So I would say I did it right, and I'm exactly where I need to be.
Yep, that's great. Yeah, hard work does. I truly believe hard work does pay off.
Yeah, for sure.
Good. And then this new, I know I haven't talked about the transfer portal. We won't talk about it today. But then the other topic is NIL. So those seem to be the two things, right? Nil and transfer portal. I want to talk about nil, name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
So has this, my question is, has it awakened? Everybody thinks nil, everyone's making all this money. But I want to take the approach of, hey, has it opened your eyes to the business world, to the entrepreneurial spirit? Has it been a positive business experience? And do you have any nil opportunities that you're working on, or something that we can discuss here and give it a plug?
Yeah, so NIL is it's a crazy thing. I mean, it really gives us an opportunity, to show who we are, and that's what I really wanted to embody. So I would say, it has opened my entrepreneurial spirits, and it's kind of like, how can I get out there and what can I do, not only to make a profit, but kind of make a name for myself, and how can I use my image and use my platform for the greater good? Like, what do I want to put out there about myself? So I think it's been a great experience. You hear about all of these big athletes making six figures off of NIL, which is insane. Like, I know some athletes that have car deals, like all of these crazy things, and it's honestly anything that you make of it and anything that you essentially want. So yeah, and I have 2 NIL deals. I also have I would call it I have a code with the company that I'm passionate about. So my code is with Underdog Athletics, and they are a Christian athletics brand. And I was through my mid-season, I was like, you know what, like this is I like what they're putting out. So code MEGSCHOUT 20 for 15% off Underdog Athletics. They have
Meg Scout 20 at Underdog Athletics.
Yep, Underdog Athletics. They have a great Christian brand. So I am an Underdog athlete. I'm also a Crazy Dough athlete. So that's our pizza company right across the street from BC. And I know a lot of people who follow me on social media. You'll see all these Crazy Dough posts, and we love Crazy Dough. Ernie is one of the greatest people ever. He has a whole NIL with the softball team, each of us individually, and so we post for him, and he supports us, and he's great. I mean, he's always supporting us. So if you ever come to BC, go to Crazy Dough because it's literally the best pizza I've ever had. And
Ernie would be very excited. I would think as a college student, I would try to get every single nil deal that had anything to do with food.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to eat here on Tuesday. I'm going to here on Wednesday. But you guys think even bigger than that. You guys think, what image I want to put out there.
Right.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So then Ernie's always supporting us. He's always at our games. He's always doing anything to, put us first, and he's amazing. And then I also just recently launched my own merch through Influence Tea. And so they gave me the opportunity to design the merch that I wanted to put out about myself. Yeah, so I have 2 designs. One is my design around glorifying God. So on the back, it's for the greater glory of God. And then it has Deuteronomy 31:6 on it, as well as a couple pictures of me. And the front is my logo, which has my initials and my number. So that's one design, and then the other design I kind of wanted more geared towards like everyday wear, like you can wear every day. And so the back of it is a butterfly, and it says "Live Bravely," and so that is designed after Kylie Rogers. Actually, our teammate who passed away, and she was always a light in our life. She was always doing something for somebody else, and that's part of her quote that's soon to be trademarked. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's super powerful. Yeah. Wow. It's amazing.
Thank you.
And what's amazing about it is that you shared your story today, and you've it's come kind of full circle, right? You talked about Kylie, and then here you are putting it out there, still keeping her memory alive. Yeah, and so actually 30% of my profits are actually going to the Fight Like Flow Foundation, which is her foundation in her honor. That it supports Seattle Children's Hospital, and I believe it's sociological and behavioral work in young adults with cancer. So it was Kylie's mission, what Kylie wanted to do. So, I'm giving back to it. Her mom and her family, her mom, her dad, and her brother are all working on getting that to come to fruition. And, it's a great thing. They're making Kylie's name and keeping her alive. So it's great. Yeah. Super. I know I got to fill some merch request for you. I have somebody at home that said, Dad, this is the link. You got to go get it. So
Hi, Brooke.
yeah, I'm definitely going to get that for her. And then lastly, okay, it's been awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, I want to talk about you're on the brink of your sophomore season. Your coach has been there now. This is going to be your 4th year or 5th year.
Gosh, I have no idea.
She's putting together a great team and a great culture, and she's really pushing forward. What has been the goal of this season coming up? Either team goals, and also if you want to share some of your personal goals. What do you see? Where do you see Boston College coming into sophomore year?
Yeah, so our first team meeting, the first thing that was shouted out was the ACC tournament. That's where we want to go.
Yes.
That was our first goal, and then we got on to, but let's not focus on results, but that's our goal. That's our main goal, but the way to get there is what we've really been focusing on. So letting go of that fear of failure is a big thing for us, so we're all working on letting go of that fear of failure. So that's for a goal, and, it's progress over results. So we're focused more on the process than we are what the results are happening. And so I think that's our biggest 2 goals is, work on the process, go every single day with 100% effort, be in your role, be joyful for the people next to you, and the results will come. So I think that's been a huge thing, especially like for me, that was my freshman year. Towards the end, I was like, let's go through the process and not necessarily go what's happening with the results. So that was a huge thing that we've all adopted as a team, and what we read in our book, it's the process.
Yeah, I wholeheartily believe in that. The process, and the way I see it as, softball dad, the process is, hey, if you're hitting line drives from right field to left field and spraying them all across, sometimes they're going to hit the right fielder in the glove and the left fielder and the center fielder. But if you trust the process, sooner or later they're going to hit the gaps.
Right.
So you really, based on what you're saying, the results, you might hit 10 great shots and they get caught.
Right.
But then the next 10 hit the gap, and now you're batting 500. So it is trusting the process and not so much the results.
Yeah, for sure. So that's been a huge thing for us. And even saying that, like, we would have a lot of girls that would just smoke a ball right at somebody, and we're like, hey, that was a great hit ball. Just wait, it'll fall. And so that's been a huge thing, is just trust the process. Be exactly where our feet are. Don't focus too much on what's before us, what's after us. Be exactly where we're at. And, the results, or the process, is going to take us to the results, and that result is the ACC tournament and beyond. So
hey, you heard it here.
Yeah.
Meghan Schouten, number 20 for Boston College. Well, thanks for being here with us today. This has been an awesome interview, and if you feel like we've earned your like, then for sure subscribe, like us, that kind of stuff. And thanks again, Meghan.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep.
It was awesome.